the truth gradually came out. This string of murders had been orchestrated by Kin, Ernest, and other white men. On the surface, Kin was the Osage's most trusted friend. Behind the scenes, he used his deputy sheriff position to facilitate the killings, aiming to seize all of Molly's family fortune. Now only Molly remained. If she died, Ernest and Kin would achieve their goal completely. In fact, Ernest hadn't been honest even after marriage. Besides gambling, he dug up the graves of deceased Osage people. And that wasn't enough. He hinted to Blakey that if he took out Rita and Bill, they could get a huge fortune. So Ernest didn't even need to do it himself. The threats to him were eliminated. Ernest didn't immediately go after Molly because he truly loved her. He even asked around to find scarce medicine for Molly's diabetes and hired doctors for long-term treatment. But Kin wouldn't let emotions ruin the plan. One day, Kin took Ernest, who was taking care of the kids, into a locked room. Byron was there too. Kin forced Ernest to kneel as punishment, using violence to warn him to take control of Molly's estate quickly. Ken told Ernest that the private detective Molly hired would soon uncover the truth, and that love doesn't buy money. If necessary, Ernest had to mix slow-acting poison into Molly's medication. After a moment of silence, Ernest chose to comply. He knew that from the moment he agreed to join the plot, there was no turning back. When it was time for the next injection, Molly said she didn't want to continue treatment. Ernest pretended to lose it and yelled at her.
Think of the children! That's gonna save your life right there!
Seeing how desperate her husband was, Molly finally agreed to the injection, to secure the inheritance completely. Kin even teamed up with Ernest to kill Molly's ex-husband, making it look like suicide. Everything was sliding toward the cruelest ending, with everyone around her dying one by one. Molly, growing thinner by the day, realized she might be next. She didn't want to just sit and wait for death, so she pretended she was going out for some fresh air. She took the train alone to Washington, hoping to appeal to the president, to report that her people were being killed and no one was investigating. But she got no response and had to return home disappointed. From then on, she was extra careful with her meals and her injections.
Ernest, pick up my insulin from the train. You alone. Do not take it from the Shawn brothers.
What she didn't know was that the one who truly wanted her dead was the husband she trusted most. Ernest, back home, Molly thought all hope was gone. She had no strength to get up and spent her days in bed. Ernest thought it was all over, until a man wearing a hat suddenly appeared at the door. The man claimed he was from Washington, a federal agent sent to investigate the mysterious deaths of the Osage. Ernest immediately realized that if everything got uncovered, his scheme would be exposed. He pretended to stay calm and sent the agent away, citing Molly's frailty as a reason. Then he hurried off to see his uncle Kin. He looked terrified, worried he might lose his life over this. Ken looked at his panicked nephew, pressed his hand on Ernest's head, and forced him to calm down. That night, Ken came up with a new plan. He claimed he needed to gather clues and found the hitman who had worked for him before. Then he told the grocery store manager that someone had snuck in to rob the store that night, so the manager shot the hitman dead. Count thought this would cover all the loose ends, but the federal agent wasn't fooled. After talking to Kin, the agent realized he couldn't get a single useful piece of info from him, but by gut feeling, he knew Kin was hiding something. The agent began investigating, starting with Anna's death. He watched near the bar and eventually sat across from an old man who was drinking tea. Sure enough, the old man gave him key information. On the day Anna died, Ernest's brother Byron and a man named Morrison had gotten her drunk. The next day, Anna was found dead in the woods. The federal agent first took Morrison into custody for questioning. Under pressure and promises, he admitted that Ernest had hired him to kill Anna, with Byron helping during the execution. To save his life, Morrison told everything in detail and agreed to give more information to assist the investigation. When Kin learned Morrison was caught, he quickly thought of a way to get out of trouble. He found Ernest and told him the news. Ernest panicked, but Kin reassured him. If he got charged, Kin would find a way to get him off, and he told Ernest to temporarily transfer Molly's property into Kin's name to secure it. Ernest didn't hesitate and agreed, becoming his uncle's scapegoat. Soon Ernest was taken to the police station. He tried to claim he was busy caring for his kids and sick wife, but the agent gave him no chance. When questioned about the murders of Anna, Minnie, and Bill, Ernest refused to confess. The agent made a deal. If he revealed Kin's actions, he wouldn't be prosecuted and could go home to his family. Ernest assumed his uncle would come to rescue him. Seeing this, the agent brought in the hitman Kin had sent to kill Ernest. Seeing the hitman, Ernest mistakenly thought his uncle sent him for backup and asked to speak with Blakey alone. During the conversation, Ernest realized that the hitman had revealed all of Kin's plans. The hitman advised Ernest that for his and his family's safety, it was best to confess quickly. Meanwhile, Molly, without Ernest taking care of her, was sent to the hospital by the Osage. After treatment, she finally stabilized and slowly recovered under the careful attention of doctors and nurses. With the hitman's confession and the federal agent's persuasion, Ernest finally agreed to stand up in court and accuse Kin. Shockingly, Kin voluntarily showed up at the police station to turn himself in, but no one in town, not even the police, could believe he would do such a thing. On the day of the trial, Kin put on an innocent face in front of reporters.
Innocent as a newborn baby.
But as the trial began, an unexpected event occurred. A man claiming to be Ernest's lawyer demanded a private meeting with his client. The Osage lawyer immediately objected, but the judge asked Ernest for his opinion, and he agreed to the lawyer's request.
I'm willing to talk to him, yeah.
At that moment, all the Osage people in the courtroom stood up to express their displeasure. The judge then announced that the trial would be postponed until 10 a.m. the next day. After leaving the police station, Ernest finally saw his wife, who had recovered her health. He held Molly, whispering his longing for her, maybe out of guilt, maybe out of fear. That night, Byron took him back to Kin's house, only to find it already filled with waiting white men. The lawyer coldly warned him, if he accused his uncle in court, he would be charged too.
They're giving you the rope to hang yourself.
Under the lawyer's guidance, Ernest not only gave up the accusation, but was misled to claim he had only testified under harsh interrogation.
They did keep me up for days.
No! They beat you! They beat you!
Yes, they beat me, sir.
Thank you!
He trusted his uncle again, believing he would be bailed out to reunite with his family. Meanwhile, Morrison's confession cemented the evidence implicating Ernest in murder. If he didn't cooperate in accusing Kin, he would face life imprisonment. Just as Ernest was ready to take the fall for Kin, the federal agent brought terrible news. That morning, his child was found dead at home. In that moment, Ernest woke up to the truth. Kin had killed his own child to seize Molly's family fortune. At the child's funeral, Molly walked up, gently touched his face, but said nothing, and then turned and walked away. In the end, Ernest chose to confess everything in court. He admitted to the murders he and his uncle Kin had committed, but always denied that he had only gotten close to Molly for money. After the trial, Molly asked to see him alone. She asked only one question: what exactly had he injected her with back then? Ernest stayed silent for a long time, then with red eyes answered,
Insulin?
Molly didn't ask further, she just turned and left. At that moment, she already knew the truth. The case ended, and the truth was finally made public. But for Molly, it all came too late. She had lost her mother, her sisters, and all her loved ones. Years later, Molly died of diabetes. The oil fields that had once made the Osage rich overnight still lay beneath the ground, and the town slowly returned to its calm, as if nothing had ever happened. Whether such a tragedy will ever happen again on this land, no one can say.